Buckle up, football fans. It's time now for Toyota Talks. Danny Parkins, part of First Things First. Danny, good to see you. Considering all the injuries the Bears had in this game, but also taking into account no Aaron Rodgers, were you taking the Bears going into this game, or did you think Pittsburgh might pull this one out?
Oh, listen, you're a 3-point favorite in the NFL. It's basically the definition of a coin flip, and that's what we saw in the game. But I think if you are at the point right now with the Bears where you're complaining about victories, that tells you how successful the season has been. Like, yeah, is it easier to do it against Mason Rudolph than Aaron Rodgers? Sure, but like, who cares? The Bears are 8-3 and playing for the 2 seed on Black Friday against the champs. I'll take it.
Smack me around. You are exactly right. What in the heck am I doing? Complaining about wins. All right, I want you to go back in the game because if you're like me, you're watching Caleb with arguably his worst play this season, the strip in the end zone, unaware of where he was or just didn't give the greatest pass rusher in Steelers history enough credit. Ball stripped by T.J. Watt, recovered in the end zone. Are you thinking at that point, this is not going to be a good day for the Bears?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was a really ugly moment and one that Caleb wants back. And the Houdini acts and his escapability this year has been remarkable. And sometimes you're going to get really ugly plays because of it. And for the most part this year, he hasn't had any of them. So I thought that was just like a stark reminder of the bottom 10 percentile outcomes of his style of play. Like he probably will have plays like that throughout his career, honestly, where it's going to be like, ugh, that's ugly. But as long as it's few and far between, and it's the first one really that we can point to, in 11 games, you'll take it. But yeah, that was a low point in his season. It was a low point in his game. But he bounced back, which I think continues to show his resilience.
Danny, let's talk about the Bears in that offensive line because they lead the NFL in pass block win rate right now through 12 weeks. Trapilla was out there. Even rookie Luke Newman, who had to replace Jonah Jackson for about 20 snaps when Jackson left the game with an eye injury. Man, money well spent on that offensive line, right?
Yeah, no question. And this is a group effort, I think. I think Caleb gets credit for his escapability, which helps with some of the numbers. I think Ryan Poles is a former offensive lineman and also the man who gets to deploy the financial resources, Dahlman and Jackson and Tooney. I think that he gets a lot of credit. I think Ben Johnson's scheme and his coaching staff gets a lot of credit. Obviously, the players get credit. So this is, plenty of blame, plenty of game balls to go around situation. And not that we want to do big picture stuff, but I do wonder if we can start dropping left tackle down the offseason priority list a little bit. Not because I think they necessarily have like a 10-year starter over there, but if it's like you got to put more resources on the defensive side of the ball because of what I was just saying, like Caleb, Ben Johnson, the interior of the offensive line, like those things can maybe make up for 1 or 2 weak spots on a line. So, the offensive line, I think at this point is playing great in run blocking and pass blocking.
I'll tell you what, I like your thinking there. Defense without 5 starters, and then Tariq Stevenson goes down and Ruben Hippolyte leave the game. Now they're down 7 starters, and it still holds on in this game. Who do you think gets the credit? Is it Dennis Allen? Is it Ben Johnson? Is it the players themselves? Who are you giving the credit to, the game ball?
Yeah, I think Dennis Allen, it's pretty impressive. I mean, allowing 7 points in the second half of that game, like figuring out how to get better over the course of a game with backups, with a new player wearing the green dot on the helmet, executing it. Like it just speaks to a well-coached team. Like I always tend to give players more credit than more, they're the ones actually out there executing. So, certainly I don't want to take anything away from any of the individual performances, and Montez Sweat, did make his presence felt. And that's obviously a big time player who makes a ton of money, making some big plays in a big spot. But I think when you're that far down on the depth chart and you're getting better over the course of the game and able to course correct mid-game, I think I do have to point to Dennis Allen and what he was able to do there. And by the way, and again, this also points to it was Mason Rudolph, and would they be able to do that if they were playing, the Cowboys offense or Philly this upcoming week, even though they've been having their problems? Like part of that, I think, is a fortuitous schedule break. But again, that's the NFL.
I'm glad that you brought up Mason Rudolph because I want to throw some reality into the situation. 5 of the last 6 quarterbacks the Bears have gone against do not have even 20 career starts. You brought up Rudolph. He's got 19 now. J.J. McCarthy, who obviously is going through his struggles right now with the Vikings. Jackson Dart, Tyler Huntley, who beat them, and Spencer Rattler. When you look at that list, Danny, does that make the wins less impressive?
Yes, of course. But that's football. Like again, I don't think this is a Super Bowl team. But that doesn't mean that they can't make the playoffs and maybe win a game or two in January and maybe prove me wrong. I mean, the Bears have had the 32nd ranked strength of victory in the NFL, meaning their wins have come against the easiest teams in terms of the teams that are in the playoffs right now. But you know who is right next to them? The New England Patriots, who would be the 1 seed in the AFC and whose quarterback Drake May is second for MVP of the whole damn league. So Caleb said it after the game, and it's true. You don't apologize for wins. Like, can we parse it and we say, well, it would be more impressive if they had done this with wins over the Rams, Eagles, Chiefs? Yeah, yes. Agreed, like point conceded, but they haven't, and that's okay. Like because there's a version of events here, Lou, where instead of being 8-3, they're 5-6 playing these quarterbacks and this schedule, and then we're asking a lot tougher questions than, well, is it that impressive that they're 8-3? Like, so I will take it, and any points that people want to make about like who they've beaten, like. Fine. I largely agree with you, but I don't think it really dampers my enthusiasm for how enjoyable this season has been.
All right, now they go a step up against these quarterbacks, right? Because now they've got games against Jalen Hurts, 2 against Jordan Love, 1 against Brock Purdy, the rematch with Jared Goff. And here's a tricky question for you, considering all the guys out on defense, which injured players, other than telling me all of them, which injured players do you think the Bears need back to beat those 9-figure quarterbacks?
Oh, yeah. Listen, Jalen Johnson is their best player who's injured, right? Like, I think Jalen Johnson is the best player that's out. So if I could only pick one to come back, I'd probably pick him. Tremaine Edmonds would be pretty close behind him. But, yeah. Edwards would help. Kyler Gordon would help. I'll take any of it back at this point. And it probably depends a little bit on your opponent. But you got to figure out a way to get in. You got to figure it out. And at this point, they're better than even money to make the playoffs. You didn't mention Cleveland. And listen, Cleveland's offense isn't going to scare anybody, but we'll see what this Shedeur Sanders thing turns into. But their defense just had 10 sacks. Myles Garrett has 18 through 11 games. So, we'll get to track whether or not Caleb Williams and his sack rate plummeting this year. That's a great test against Cleveland. We'll get to measure that offensive line against Cleveland's defensive line. So each game the rest of the way provides really interesting schematic challenges for Caleb, for Ben Johnson, for Dennis Allen, for the depth of this team. And so, yeah, if they're going to make the playoffs, they're going to have to earn it. So if people want to say, well, they haven't really been that impressive to date because of their opponents, you're not going to be able to say that come January.
All right, let's stick to Friday. Can the backups hold down the fort? Let's say no one comes back. Friday, defending Super Bowl champs, coming off a loss. Can the backups do what they did yesterday?
Yeah, they can. I mean, I wouldn't bet on it. Philly off a loss is going to be tough. But Philly's offense has just not been good. It just looked great early against Dallas, then plummeted. Saquon Barkley after the game said that he has been bad this year. They've got injuries on their offensive line, not as many as the Bears have defensively. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, by this time Friday, maybe they'll have had 3 more public spats via Instagram or Twitch or something on A.J. Brown's side. Who knows what's going to come out of Philadelphia between now and then. So, it's obviously a bad matchup on paper, but Philly's offense has been so unimpressive and so inconsistent that yeah, they can get it done. I won't rule it out.
All right. I assume that you don't have them yet on that Eagles-Rams line. What about the Packers and Lions, the Bears?
Yeah, so I think that they're right there. I do. I think the Packers defense is really good, and I still think the Lions offense is really good, but the Bears offense has been pretty darn good also, and there's something to Magic. I know this is like I'm like the logical guy, rational thought provider, know the numbers, watching the games, all of that, but like last year, the Vikings won 14 games. Were they that good? I don't know, but they won 14 games. Like, sometimes it happens. Like, the Commanders were in the NFC Championship game last year. This year, they have 3 wins. And that's not all Jaden Daniels being injured. So the NFL is weird. And sometimes you just have those magical seasons where you wake up and you're like, what? That team won 12 games? And maybe this year, that's the Bears.
Let's hope so. So I'm going to end with, as I always do, where are the Bears on the Parkins playoff meter?
Yeah, I think they're going. I think they're going to the playoffs. 65-35, 70-30, somewhere in there. I know the odds say it's a little less than that, but you got to figure out a way to win 2 more. Got to figure out a way to win 2 more and get to 10. Does 10 guarantee it? No. 11 guarantees it, but I think 10 probably gets you in. And I think Ben Johnson is too good to have this team completely collapse down the stretch. I think they're in.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Have a happy Thanksgiving to you and the family. Are you taking the family to the world famous Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade there in New York?
That seems like an absolute nightmare, Lou. No, are you kidding? No, everyone's coming to the house in suburban New York, and we will be, eating from sunrise to sunset and watching football and getting ready for Black Friday, Bears and Eagles.
That a boy, we will be with you. All right, enjoy the week with the family. Have a great, great Thanksgiving, buddy.
Same to you, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving.